Hello, Jamie Del Rey here, and today I'm going to be doing a review of the Hunger Games trilogy, as it was requested in the review I did of Lolita, and luckily I've already read all three of these books, so I could get this review out pretty quickly. Otherwise they wouldn't normally be out this quick, because I'd have to read them. But yeah, where do I even begin with these brilliant books? I suppose I should tell you a little bit about the general plot, so just so you can get like the gist of what's going on. The Hunger Games is a dystopian novel, and it's about there is this capital, this rich, lavish city, which controls these 12 districts, which I think the best way to describe them is kind of like slave districts. They work to provide for the capital, and each specialises in a different kind of work. For instance, District 12, which is the district of the main character, specialises in mining, I think, if memory serves correctly. It's been a while since I've read the books. But, yes. And the capital, I think it's every year, has an annual Hunger Games in which two people from each district, a boy and a girl, their names are drawn out of a hat randomly, and it's like a bowl, drawn out of a bowl, and these two people have to take part in the Hunger Games, which is basically they're all trained and they have to kill each other, and there can only be one survivor, and it's for the capital's amusement. And the winner becomes a mentor to further tributes like in the following years. But yeah, and the protagonist is Katniss Everdeen, and she is from District 12, the mining district, and she volunteers for her sister, her younger sister, whose name gets drawn out, so she doesn't have to take part in the Hunger Games. And Katniss is just, where do I even begin? Katniss is like a badass. She's just amazing. She's great with a bow and arrow. She has this she can be quite cold at times, like an emotional detachment, but at the same time, she can be very emotional. We see her emotions towards her family, people she cares about, people she's in relationships with, and I just think it makes the character very real. It adds depth to her. She's not just some, how do I put it, like some machine like badass that goes around just like killing people and yeah, just doesn't care about anything. We actually see the emotional depth of Katniss, which I think is great because it allows us to relate. She's an actual human being. The first novel, it's laid out. The first half is the Katniss's life in District 12, the poor district. There's dilapidation, starvation, lack of food, these terrible conditions, and when she volunteers for her sister, she gets taken to the capital, and she's introduced to all this food, this lavish luxury lifestyle, which greatly contrasts to her very poor lifestyle in District 12, and I just think that contrast is really great. And then there's the second half of the novel, which is the actual games, and it's full of action, death, and all that lovely stuff. But yeah, I like the way that the novels are set out. The way that the first half is like the training, the life in the capital, adjusting, the districts, and the second half is the games, the action. And I just think the fact that it's not full-on action throughout the whole novel is good, because I love action as much as the next person. I love movies, books with action as well. But I think sometimes it can overwhelm like a movie or a novel if there's too much. Like if it's just mindless action all the time and it never stops. And I think you see that with a lot of movies nowadays. So I like that balance that it maintains. It's really good. Also, I'd like to talk a little bit about the writing style. It's in the present tense, first person view from Katniss. So it's not past tense. She doesn't relay the events as a story that have already happened. For instance, she would say like I run instead of I ran. So you get the impression like that it's happening right now. You're a part of it, and I think that's a really clever writing technique. And it allows readers to feel like they're a part of the novel, as opposed to it's just a story which is being relayed to them that's already happened. So it's really clever writing on Collins's behalf. Obviously, as this is a trilogy, I'm going to talk a little bit about the other books. So, Catching Fire, which is the sequel to the Hunger Games, is very much similar to the first one in the structure, only I'd say that it's more based the first 3/4 of the novel on the capital and the districts and the training, whereas it's only the last quarter of the novel that's actually the games. And also the games in this book, all the tributes of the games are past winners of each game, which makes it really interesting and great. So they're all brutal killers there. They've all done it before. They're not just these people who have been drawn out of a bowl and forced to fight. They're all trained killers, and it's really good. But I think, considering it appears that the novel is predominantly the capital and the training and getting to know the other districts as well, you would think there's not much action in the book, there's not much emphasis on the games, but there is. Considering it's only the last quarter of the novel, it's so good. Point of fact, Catching Fire is actually my favourite out of the 3. And the action, everything about the games in the last quarter is so good. You wouldn't even think, oh, there's not enough of the games in this book. This presence is so strong. The arena is so clever. It's like an island, and it works like a clock. Like every section of the island will be different obstacles. I don't want to spoil too much. And the third novel, there isn't actually any games at all. It's more about the rebellion against the capital, and a lot of people complain that there's no games, and that ruins the novel. But I don't think so. I think that it makes a nice break from the rigid structure of games in each novel, and then bam, the third novel's completely different. There are no games. It's all focused on the rebellion and Katniss, as she is like the icon of this rebellion. She's the symbol of this rebellion. And it's the third novel is pretty much consistent action. They go around the districts and manage to get them pretty much all to rebel, and there's a lot of action. They go through they storm through the Capitol, or fighting. It's pretty awesome. This has to be mentioned. I won't mention like the characters who die or whatever in the novel, but in each novel, Collins kills off a character that we all love, and she knows how to really pull at your heartstrings. She knows which characters to kill and the manners in which it's done, and it really pulls at your heartstrings, and it's just ruins you inside. But yeah, overall, I think these are brilliant novels. Brilliant. I loved them when I read them, and I would definitely recommend that you all read them, because they're a pleasure to read. Like I say, even if you're not a big action goer, I still recommend you should read these novels, because it's not all action. It's the balance is really good, and it's from Katniss's perspective. It's about her survival more than anything. So I really think it's something that's accessible to all readers. It's really good, and yeah, I would recommend. But yes, thank you to Jennifer Lawrence. This is the person who it's the person who asked me to do a review of the Hunger Games trilogy. Obviously that's not the real name, but that's the name of their YouTube channel. I'm just gonna go. Yeah, I can't speak today.